What if Leonardo DiCaprio had chosen The Matrix over Titanic? Then maybe Halle Bailey wouldn't have played Ariel in the live-action The Little Mermaid. At the time, Leo was a handsome young star in his mid-20s, and Hollywood was just beginning to shape the formula for the next DiCaprio. He boarded Cameron's ship, and in December 1997, Titanic began its voyage by earning $28 million in its first week in North America. By week 3, word of mouth exploded, with teens raving, "That's the most romantic movie I've ever seen." The film ultimately grossed $2 billion worldwide and became the highest-grossing movie of all time. DiCaprio became the face on every t-shirt, pouch, and diary, a dream figure for teens everywhere. In 1998, My Heart Will Go On from the Titanic OST hit No. 1 on the Billboard singles chart within 2 weeks. MTV and VH1 increased their romantic ballad special programming to 3 times a week. Radio producers began actively playing ballads, especially love songs led by female vocalists. This environment also influenced Disney Channel, which began producing a string of teen musicals like High School Musical in the early 2000s. Naturally, rookie talents who could act and sing started scoring higher in Disney auditions. In 2013, a YouTube video of 2 black sisters, Chloe and Halle, covering Beyoncé's Pretty Hurts, caught the attention of Disney's A&R radar, possibly thanks to that very trend. With no major promotion, the video hit 5 million views and was featured on indie music blogs as the next Disney divas. In 2016, the duo signed with Disney's Hollywood Records. And by 2019, they had contributed chorus vocals to the live-action The Lion King OST, building their connections inside the studio. Around that same time, Disney doubled down on its strategy to become the most inclusive brand, emphasizing political correctness. The $1.3 billion success of Black Panther and $800 million earned by Coco cemented the belief that diversity pays. In 2017, Beauty and the Beast made $1.26 billion. In 2019, Aladdin reached $1.05 billion, and The Lion King pulled in a massive $1.66 billion, making the formula of live-action plus nostalgia plus music feel like a guaranteed win. Against this backdrop, Disney moved forward with The Little Mermaid live-action remake, searching for someone who embodied Gen Z plus vocal talent plus diversity. After countless auditions, one standout emerged, Halle Bailey. A demo of her singing Part of Your World reportedly received internal praise, with some saying it was fresher than the original. At the same time, backlash surged online, accusing Disney of pushing another diversity marketing stunt. The hashtag #NotMeAriel was mentioned more than 1.2 million times on social media. Now let's revisit the "what if Leo had chosen The Matrix" scenario. If Leo had taken the role of Neo, Titanic would have had to recast Jack. Cameron, facing budget pressure, might have cast a lesser-known actor. The film's initial momentum could have weakened, capping box office earnings around $700 million. With that, investment interest in romantic blockbusters would have cooled, and ballads wouldn't have gained as much attention. If MTV hadn't pushed romantic ballads, Disney Channel might have focused on genres like action, dance, or skate-themed content instead of musical teen dramas. In that case, Chloe and Halle would have had a harder time connecting with Disney through a YouTube cover. The duo may have debuted later through an indie R&B label or via TikTok. Other young talents might have filled the chorus role in The Lion King OST in 2019. This would have left fewer opportunities for Disney to recognize Halle Bailey's talent. Disney's confidence in multi-ethnic casting might also have arrived later. Even if Black Panther had succeeded, the studio might have thought, it's too early to race-swap a classic princess. That could have meant a return to Ariel with red hair and white skin for The Little Mermaid. Alternatively, a late-think singer, perhaps someone featured in Coco, might have been cast instead. The key point is that live-action remakes operate on a loop of success, reinvestment. Without those early mega hits between 2017 and 2019, Disney execs might have leaned toward live-action as risky. For example, the live-action Mulan only made $70 million due to the pandemic. And there was already buzz about live-action fatigue. Yet Disney still poured $250 million into The Little Mermaid, citing prior hits as justification. The result? A global gross of $560 million. Many analysts believe there was barely any theatrical profit after marketing costs. if previous successes had been modest. The Little Mermaid might have had half the budget or been postponed altogether. On the flip side, in the Leo as Neo world, The Matrix might have had a lighter tone and greater mass appeal. In 1999, the film industry might have embraced hackers and virtual reality as mainstream entertainment. If the film passed $1 billion with action star DiCaprio, Hollywood would have invested heavily in the sci-fi action plus handsome male lead formula starting in the early 2000s. That shift could have shrunk the space for romantic musicals. High School Musical and Camp Rock might not have been conceived so early. Disney Channel might have focused on sitcoms themed around parkour, skating, or graffiti. That naturally would have delayed projects aimed at finding clear-voiced singing heroines. Halle Bailey's debut pathway would have been even more uncertain. In summary, whether or not Jack Dawson boards that ship might have shaped the skin color of a future sea princess. Because in the movie industry, massive hits change investment patterns and audition standards. Of course, if Leo as Neo had flopped, The Matrix might have ended without a sequel. That, too, would have shifted the trajectory of sci-fi action films. But as Titanic proved, emotional impact on a grand scale sticks and rewrites the playbook, just like the ballad boom or the rise of streaming post-pandemic. Back to The Little Mermaid. Halle Bailey's casting was announced with statements like a meeting of talent and inclusivity. Yet the racial swap triggered both intense boycott and passionate support. It opened at $95 million in North America, which was decent. But performance in China, Korea, and Europe was weaker, ending with $560 million worldwide. Internal Disney reports suggest that negative sentiment on social media increased from 48% pre-release to 55% post-release. That's noticeably higher than the 30% range for Aladdin and The Lion King. Ariel being black wasn't universally embraced, which suggests Disney's inclusion equals box office formula isn't fully validated yet. Once again, if DiCaprio hadn't played Jack, Halle Bailey might never have been cast or would have been cast later. No casting, no black Ariel debate. No debate, no global controversy. The film could have been released more quietly, on a smaller scale, or in a totally different form. Perhaps a white or Latinx Ariel might have earned a smooth $800 million box office. That would have lessened the backlash over Disney's excessive political correctness. DiCaprio's decision to play Jack didn't just affect one film. It rippled through teen emotional trends, social media discourse, and global casting habits. He became Jack. Disney chose inclusion. And Halle Bailey became Ariel. Just as casting DiCaprio as Jack shifted the face of The Little Mermaid, your small act of subscribing to this channel might just change the next scene of your life. At the very least, your algorithm will.